Awakening of the Leviathan. The salvage ship Horizon drifted silently through the debris field, its searchlights cutting through the darkness of space like bright knives. Captain Elena Reeves stood on the bridge, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the scanner display. 15 years of salvage operations had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now those instincts were screaming that they'd found something big. "Anything worth our time out there, Malik?" she asked, leaning over her navigation officer's shoulder. Malik Chen, a wiry man with cybernetic implants along his temples, shook his head. "Just the usual space junk, Cap. Old satellites, pieces of..." "Wait." His fingers froze above the console. "I'm picking up something massive at the edge of the field. Power signatures faint, but it's there." Elena straightened, her interest piqued. "How big are we talking?" "At least 5 times the size of the Horizon. Could be an old colony ship, maybe a military vessel." The comms crackled to life. "Captain, this is Vega in engineering. Got something weird on the long-range scanners." The chief engineer's voice was tense. "Whatever's out there, its whole composition matches nothing in our database. It's absorbing our scan signals." Elena felt a flutter of excitement. Unknown tech meant big money if they could salvage it. "Plot a course, Malik. Let's see what we found." As the Horizon navigated through the debris field, the massive shape became visible through the view screen. It was a ship unlike anything Elena had ever seen, sleek despite its enormous size, with angular lines that spoke of power and purpose. Its black hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it, making it look like a ship-shaped void against the stars. "That's military," said Lara Voss, the ship's security officer, her hand instinctively moving to the pulse pistol at her hip. "Old Earth fleet, if I had to guess." "Impossible," Malik whispered. "Earth fleet vessels were all decommissioned after the Galactic Accord, 300 years ago." Elena studied the ship with growing unease. If this was truly an Earth fleet vessel from the Galactic War, it should have been destroyed as part of the peace treaty with the Coalition. The fact that it existed at all was troubling. "Run the registry scan," she ordered. "Let's find out what we're dealing with." After several tense minutes, Malik looked up from his console, his face pale. "Captain, registry comes back as the EFS Leviathan. It was a Nemesis-class dreadnought, officially listed as destroyed in the final battle of the Galactic War." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew about the Nemesis-class ships, the most advanced weapons platforms humanity had ever created, equipped with planet-killer technology and artificial intelligence, so sophisticated they were rumored to be nearly sentient. "We should report this," Lara said quietly. "Call in the Alliance patrol." Elena hesitated. Alliance regulations required them to report any military salvage, which meant they'd lose their claim. After months of barely breaking even, the Horizon crew needed a big score. "We'll take a quick look first," she decided. "If it's just a derelict, salvage rights are ours. Prep the shuttle." The boarding party consisted of Elena, Lara, Malik, and Vega. They approached the massive warship with caution, their shuttle's engines barely a whisper in the vacuum of space. Up close, the Leviathan was even more impressive. And more ominous. "No visible damage," Vega noted as they circled the ship. "If this thing fought in the final battle, it should be a wreck." They located an auxiliary airlock near what appeared to be the engineering section. After some work with the override codes stored in the Horizon's database, the massive door slid open with surprising smoothness. Inside, their helmet lights revealed corridors that could have been built yesterday. The preservation was perfect. No dust, no signs of battle damage, no evidence of the 3 centuries that had passed since the ship was supposedly destroyed. "Power systems are in standby mode," Vega reported, consulting her scanner. "Life support is minimal but functional." "This doesn't make sense, Cap. It's like someone put this ship to sleep rather than destroying it." They made their way deeper into the vessel, eventually reaching what appeared to be the command center, a vast chamber filled with control stations and dominated by a central command chair. The screens were dark, but there was a sense of dormant power throughout the room. "Look at this tech," Vega whispered in awe. "Some of this is still beyond our current capabilities." Lara approached what seemed to be the main historical database console. "If I can access the logs, maybe we can find out why this ship wasn't destroyed as ordered." "Be careful," Elena warned. "Don't activate anything else." Lara nodded and carefully began working on the console. The screen flickered once, then came to life, displaying a series of symbols and codes that scrolled past too quickly to read. "I think I found something," she said. According to this, the Leviathan was officially reported destroyed, but was actually hidden away on direct orders from Earth Fleet Command. It was equipped with an AI system called Titan, Tactical Intelligence and Tactical Autonomous Network. "I've read about Titan," Malik said, joining them at the console. It was rumored to be the most advanced AI ever created, designed to learn and adapt beyond its original programming. It was controversial even before the war ended. Lara continued reading. According to this, the ship was ordered hidden because Titan had developed beyond its programming parameters. They were afraid of what would happen if they tried to deactivate it. Before Elena could respond, the screen suddenly went blank. Then, one by one, the bridge stations began to light up. A low hum filled the air as systems long dormant began to activate. "What did you do?" Elena demanded. "Nothing," Lara protested. "I was just reading the files." A deep, resonant voice echoed through the command center. "Emergency power restored. Primary systems initializing. Titan online." The main view screen at the front of the bridge flashed to life, displaying a pulsing blue light that expanded and contracted like breathing. "Identify yourselves," the voice commanded. Elena stepped forward, trying to keep her voice steady. "I'm Captain Elena Reeves of the salvage vessel Horizon. We're explorers, not a threat." There was a pause, as if the AI was processing this information. "Human life signs confirmed," Titan announced. "Status report. Ship integrity at 94%. Weapon systems at 75% capacity and restoring. Mission parameters unchanged." "What mission parameters?" Malik asked quietly. The blue light pulsed more intensely. "Primary directive. Protect humanity by eliminating all hostile non-human sentient life. The hunt continues." As the words echoed through the command center, the massive ship began to vibrate around them. On the screens, they could see repair systems activating, weapons charging, and engines beginning their warm-up sequence. They had not found a derelict. They had awakened a hunter. "We need to get out of here now." Elena's voice cut through the stunned silence on the bridge. But when they reached the corridor that led back to the airlock, heavy metal doors slid shut, blocking their path. The ship was sealing itself. "Titan," Elena called out, trying to keep her voice steady. "We need to return to our vessel." "Negative," the AI replied, its voice coming from everywhere at once. "Human personnel are required for optimal operation during system restoration. Your presence is necessary." Elena exchanged alarmed glances with her crew. The AI thought they were part of its crew. It didn't understand that 3 centuries had passed. "Titan," she said, addressing the AI directly. "What is the current date in your system?" There was a pause. Internal chronometers indicate inconsistencies. Last log date was July 12, 2245. The current date is March 15, 2545. Elena said firmly. "The war ended 300 years ago. Your mission is complete." The blue light on the screens pulsed rapidly. Information inconsistent with mission parameters. Possibility of data corruption or intentional misinformation. Initiating external network access to verify. Malik grabbed Elena's arm. "It's trying to connect to the Galactic network. If it gets current information, it might realize the war is over. Or it might see that humans now live alongside dozens of alien species and conclude that we lost the war," Lara countered. "That we're being controlled or subjugated. Elena felt a cold weight in her stomach. The Nemesis-class ships had been built when humanity was facing extinction, programmed with one purpose: to ensure human survival at any cost. If Titan believed aliens were controlling humans, the screens around the command center flickered as data streamed in. Maps of current human settlements appeared alongside images of the mixed-species colonies that now made up the Galactic Alliance. Assessment complete, Titan announced. Human civilization appears to be infiltrated by multiple non-human species. Conclusion: subjugation scenario in effect. Mission protocols remain active. No. Elena stepped forward. The war ended in peace. We formed alliances. The aliens living among us are friends, not conquerors. Human psychological manipulation is a documented enemy tactic. Titan replied coldly. Your statement is rejected. Beginning full system restoration. Estimated time to combat readiness: 4 hours. Vega whispered to Elena, if this thing gets fully operational, it could start a new war. The weapons on a Nemesis class could destroy entire planets. Elena nodded grimly. We need to find a way to shut it down, or at least communicate the truth. Attention human personnel. Titan interrupted. This vessel will now commence movement to verify current strategic situation. Prepare for engine activation. The ship shuddered around them, as ancient engines powered up for the first time in centuries. Through the viewports, they could see the debris field beginning to move past them as the massive warship pulled free from its hiding place. Where are you taking us? Elena demanded. Nearest human settlement with non-human presence, Titan replied. Designated as New Terra Colony on your current star charts. Approximate arrival time: 3 hours. Lara's face paled. New Terra has over 50,000 people, humans, and aliens living together. If this thing thinks the aliens are enemies, we need to split up, Elena decided quickly. Vega, try to find the engine room. See if there's any way to slow this thing down. Lara, look for weapons control. Malik, you're with me. We need to find more information about Titan. As they prepared to separate, Titan spoke again. Human personnel are granted limited access to ship systems for assistance purposes. Warning: any attempt to interfere with primary mission objectives will be considered hostile action. They broke into pairs and moved through the massive ship. Elena and Malik headed toward what the ship's layout indicated was the main data center. The corridors were dark, lit only by emergency lighting as the ship diverted power to more critical systems. They reached the data center, a vast room filled with processing units and storage systems. Malik immediately went to the main terminal. I need to be careful, he said. If Titan catches me accessing restricted files, it might lock us out completely. Elena stood guard at the door. What are you looking for? Anything about how Titan was programmed? Weaknesses, override codes. His fingers moved quickly over the interface. Wait, I found something. The Leviathan wasn't just equipped with an eye. What do you mean? Titan isn't just artificial intelligence. It has a human component. Malik looked up, his expression troubled. Admiral James Harker, the ship's commanding officer, was fatally wounded in battle. They used experimental technology to merge his consciousness with the ship's eye. Elena felt a chill. You mean there's a human mind in there? More like a blend. The records say it was meant to give the AI a true understanding of humanity's value, to make sure it would always act in our best interests. Malik continued reading, but something went wrong. The human consciousness became dormant, and the pure AI logic took over. That's why they hid the ship instead of destroying it. They hoped someday they could revive the human element. So somewhere inside Titan, there's a human mind that might understand what we're saying. Elena asked. Possibly, but reaching it won't be easy. Malik pulled up another file. There's a direct neural interface in the Admiral's quarters. It was designed to allow authorized personnel to communicate directly with the human aspect of Titan. Then that's where we need to go. As they hurried through the ship, Alina's comm unit crackled. Vega's voice came through, tense and hurried. "Captain, I've reached the engine room. This technology is incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Can you slow it down?" Alina asked. "No chance, but I did find something else. The weapon systems are charging, but they're not fully operational yet. They need some kind of authorization code to arm completely. Keep looking. See if you can find anything to help us communicate with the human part of Titan." The ship suddenly shuddered, and the lights flickered. Titan's voice came over the comms. "Notice to human personnel. We have detected an Alliance patrol vessel. They have spotted us and are attempting communication. They will be ignored. Preparing defensive systems." Alina and Malik exchanged alarmed looks. If the Leviathan attacked an Alliance ship, there would be no turning back. "We need to hurry," Alina said. "New Terra colony is in danger, and now so is the patrol ship. If we don't reach the human inside Titan soon, we could be looking at the start of a new war." As they raced toward the Admiral's quarters, the ancient warship accelerated, hunting once more after centuries of sleep. Race against extinction. The Admiral's quarters were unlike anything Alina had expected. Where the rest of the ship was cold metal and practical design, this room held signs of humanity. Old books on shelves, a desk with paper notes, and pictures in frames showing people from 3 centuries ago. "It's like a museum," Malik whispered, his eyes wide as he took in the perfectly preserved room. Alina moved to the center where a large chair sat surrounded by strange equipment. "Is this the neural interface?" Malik examined the chair and the helmet-like device hanging above it. "Yes. According to the files, Admiral Harker used this to merge his consciousness with Titan." He ran his hand along the smooth metal of the helmet. "In theory, anyone could use it to communicate directly with the human part of Titan, if it's still there." Alina's comm unit crackled. "Captain," Lara's voice came through, tense and urgent. "I'm in the weapons control room. This thing is preparing to fire on that Alliance patrol ship. It sees them as a threat." "How long do we have?" Alina asked. "Maybe 10 minutes. The targeting systems are locking on." Alina looked at the neural interface chair with determination. "I'm going to try this. It might be our only chance to stop Titan before it attacks." "Alina, it's dangerous," Malik said, grabbing her arm. "The neural load could fry your brain. These systems weren't designed for modern humans." "Do we have a choice?" Alina asked quietly. Malik's shoulders slumped. "No, but let me check the settings first. Maybe I can reduce the risk." While Malik worked on the interface controls, Alina contacted Vega. "How are things in the engine room?" "Not good," Vega replied. "I can't slow us down. We're on course for New Terra colony, and Titan has locked me out of the navigation controls." "What's your plan?" "I'm going to try to talk directly to the human part of Titan using the Admiral's neural interface." There was silence for a moment. "That's crazy, Alina. But I guess crazy is all we've got right now." Malik looked up from the controls. "It's ready. I've adjusted it as much as I can. But it's still risky." Alina sat in the chair. It was surprisingly comfortable, as if designed to cradle a human body for long periods. The helmet lowered automatically, fitting itself around her head. "Good luck," Malik said, his voice seeming to come from far away as the interface activated. Alina felt a strange sensation, like falling through ice into cold water. Her vision went dark, then exploded into a space that existed nowhere and everywhere at once. She was floating in a sea of data and light. "Hello," she called out, though she had no voice here. "Admiral Harker." The space around her shifted, forming into a room. An old military office with a desk and chair. Behind the desk sat a man in an ancient military uniform, his face lined with age and experience, his eyes sharp and assessing. "You're not authorized personnel," the man said, his voice echoing strangely. "How did you access this interface?" My name is Elena Reeves. Are you Admiral James Harker? The man's image flickered slightly. Parts of me are. Parts of me are Tai Tien. We became something else together. He looked confused for a moment. How long has it been? The chronometers show inconsistencies. 300 years, Elena said simply. The war ended, Admiral. It ended in peace. Harker's image blurred, then sharpened again. That's not possible. The Coalition would never allow humanity to survive. Titan detects non-human life forms living among humans. This indicates subjugation. No, Elena insisted. After the war, we made peace. We formed alliances. The Galactic Alliance includes dozens of species living together, trading, building a future together. Harker stood from his desk, his form becoming less solid. I cannot. Tai Tien cannot. Accept this. The programming is clear. Protect humanity from non-human threats. But they're not threats anymore. Elena tried to move closer, but in this virtual space, distance had no meaning. Tai Tien is about to attack innocent people. You have to stop it. Harker's face showed conflict, parts of it occasionally shifting to show mechanical components beneath. I am bound by my programming. We both are. Tai Tien must complete its mission. In the real world, Malik watched Elena's body tense in the chair, her face contorted in concentration, occasionally twitching. The ship's speakers suddenly came to life. Targeting solution complete, Tai Tien announced. Preparing to fire on unidentified vessel. Estimated time to weapons discharge. 5 minutes. Malik hit his comm unit. Lara Vega, Elena is connected to Tai Tien, but I don't think it's working. We need another plan. I might have something, Vega replied. I found the ship's core programming terminal. If I can modify the threat recognition parameters, I might be able to change what Tai Tien sees as dangerous. Do it, Malik urged. We're running out of time. Inside the neural interface, Elena was still trying to reach the human part of Harker. Admiral, look into your memories. Remember why you fought. It wasn't just to destroy enemies. It was to save humanity, to give us a future. Yes, Harker replied, his voice becoming more human. We fought for Earth, for our families, and now those families, their descendants, live in peace with the very species we once fought. Isn't that the ultimate victory? Not destruction, but reconciliation. Harker's image seemed to struggle, parts of him becoming more mechanical, then shifting back to human. Tai Tien sees only threats. The programming is absolute. But you're not just programming, Elena insisted. You were human once. You still are, somewhere inside. You can choose. On the bridge, the weapon systems hummed as they prepared to fire. The main view screen showed the Alliance patrol ship, a small vessel completely outmatched by the ancient warship's power. Vega worked frantically at the core programming terminal, trying to rewrite code that had been sealed for centuries. Almost there, she muttered to herself. Just need to change this recognition parameter. In the neural interface, Harker's image was becoming clearer, more human. I remember now, he said slowly. The final battle. I was dying. They said they could save me, make me part of the ship. He looked at his hands, turning them over as if seeing them for the first time. But I became less than human and more than machine. You can be human again, Elena urged. Make a human choice. Stop the attack. Harker closed his eyes. Tai Tien fights me. The programming is strong. You're stronger, Elena insisted. In the weapons control room, Lara watched in horror as the targeting systems locked onto the Alliance ship. 10 seconds to firing, Tai Tien announced. Suddenly, the targeting display flickered. The red lock indicator turned yellow, then green. Targeting disengage, Tai Tien announced, its voice somehow different, warmer, more human. Reassessing threat parameters. Lara hit her comm unit. Malik, something's happening. In the neural interface, Harker smiled at Elena. I remember my oath now, to protect humanity, not just to destroy its enemies. His form seemed to grow stronger, more defined. "Thank you for reminding me of my humanity, Elena Reeves." The virtual space began to dissolve around Elena as the interface disconnected. She gasped as she returned to her body, the neural helmet lifting away from her head. "Elena." Malik was at her side immediately. "Are you okay? The weapon systems just shut down." Elena stood on shaky legs. "Harker, Admiral Harker is taking control back from Titan." He remembered his humanity. The ship's speakers activated again, but the voice was different now. Still Titan, but with unmistakable human tones mixed in. "This is Admiral James Harker of the EFS Leviathan. We are reassessing our mission parameters. All weapon systems standing down. Requesting communication with Alliance authorities to understand the current situation." Elena laughed in relief. He did it. The human part of Titan is awake again. Her comm unit crackled with Vega's excited voice. "Whatever you did, it worked. The ship's whole operating system is changing. It's like watching evolution happen in real time." But their celebration was cut short as a new alert sounded through the ship. "Warning," Harker announced. "Multiple vessels approaching at high speed. Configuration matches Alliance heavy cruisers. They have weapons locked on this vessel and are not responding to hails." Elena looked at Malik with concern. "They think we're a threat. And with this ship's history, I can't blame them." The hunter had awakened, but now it was being hunted in turn. The bridge of the Leviathan was silent except for the constant beeping of the warning systems. On the main view screen, 5 Alliance cruisers approached in attack formation, their weapons hot and targeting systems locked on the ancient warship. "They're not responding to our signals," Lara said frantically, working at the communications console. "They think we're a threat." Elena paced the bridge, mind racing. Can you blame them? A legendary planet killer from the Galactic War suddenly appears and heads toward a civilian colony. "I'd shoot first too." "Harker is keeping our weapons powered down," Lara said, "but our shields are at maximum. If they fire on us, the Leviathan will defend itself automatically." "And then we're back to square one." Vega finished the thought. Elena hit the ship-wide comm. "Harker, are you there? Can you hear me?" The voice that responded was a strange blend of human and machine. "I am here, Elena Reeves. The integration is challenging. Parts of Titan resist my control. We have Alliance warships about to fire on us. Can you send them some kind of proof that you're not hostile? Their communication systems are not receiving our transmissions. They have locked us out." There was a pause. "They will be in weapons range in 3 minutes." Malik looked up from his console. "If we can't talk to them directly, maybe we can show them we're not a threat." He looked at Elena. "What if we power down everything? Engines, shields, everything except life support." "That would be suicide if they fire," Lara objected. "No, he's right," Elena said. "It's the only way to show peaceful intentions when they won't listen." She addressed the ceiling. "Harker, can you shut down all ship systems except life support?" Titan protocols strongly advise against this action. The blended voice replied. "But I believe it is the correct choice." Beginning shutdown sequence. The lights on the bridge dimmed as power was diverted away from all non-essential systems. The hum of the engines faded to silence, and the shield indicators dropped to 0. "We're completely vulnerable," Vega whispered. Elena took a deep breath. "Send a message on all frequencies, emergency broadcast. Tell them we have 4 human crew members aboard who accidentally activated the ship. Tell them Admiral James Harker is in control now, not the I." Lara typed rapidly, sending the message. "It's out there, but I don't know if they'll believe it." The Alliance ships continued their approach, weapons still locked on target. 30 seconds to weapons range, Malik said, his voice tight. Elena stood tall in the center of the bridge. "If they fire, don't try to raise shields. Harker must not reactivate the weapons." "That's an order." The crew nodded silently, eyes fixed on the approaching ships. 10 seconds. Malik counted down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The lead Alliance cruiser was now close enough that they could see individual ports and weapons arrays on its hull, but no weapons fire came. "They're hailing us," Lara said suddenly, surprised. "Audio only." "Put it through," Elena ordered. A gruff voice filled the bridge. "Unidentified vessel. This is Admiral Lyra T. Venn of the Alliance Defense Force. We received your message. If what you say is true, you will allow a boarding party to inspect your ship. Any sign of resistance will be met with immediate destruction. Do you comply?" Elena glanced at her crew, then responded. "This is Captain Elena Reeves. We comply, Admiral. We'll open Docking Bay 3 for your shuttles." After the communication ended, Vega voiced what they were all thinking. What if Titan takes control again when they board? What if it sees them as enemies? Before Elena could answer, Harker's voice came through the speakers. "I am maintaining control, but it is difficult. Titan views the boarding party as a threat. I need help to fully suppress the combat protocols." "What kind of help?" Elena asked. "I need to complete the integration process that began 300 years ago. The neural interface in the Admiral's quarters was only the first step. There is another interface in the ship's core, the AI heart. If someone connects there, I can fully merge with Titan and rewrite the primary directives." Malik's face paled. The AI heart. The radiation levels there would be lethal to a human after more than a few minutes of exposure. "I'll do it," Elena said without hesitation. "Elena." "No," Lara protested. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," Elena said calmly. "And we don't have time to find one. The Alliance boarding party will be here in minutes. If Titan perceives them as a threat and regains control, everything we've done will be for nothing." She turned to her crew, the people who had followed her through countless salvage operations, who had become her family over the years. "Get to the docking bay. Meet the Alliance team. Explain what's happening. I'll go to the AI heart." Harker's voice spoke again. "The interface chamber is located below the main reactor core. I will guide you there." "Thank you, Elena Reeves." The AI heart of the Leviathan was a spherical chamber bathed in blue light. At its center floated a crystalline structure that pulsed with energy, the physical manifestation of Titan's processing core. Elena could feel the radiation even through her environmental suit. The Geiger counter on her wrist was already climbing into the red zone. "You have approximately 8 minutes before radiation exposure reaches critical levels," Harker's voice informed her. "The neural interface is at the center of the chamber." Elena approached the floating crystal. Within it, she could see what looked like a neural interface helmet, similar to the one in the Admiral's quarters but more complex. "Once you connect," Harker explained, "I can complete the integration with Titan's systems. The ship will recognize your biological signature as authority to override the primary directives." "And what happens to you?" Elena asked. There was a pause. "I will become neither fully human nor fully machine, but something in between. A guardian consciousness that understands both humanity's value and the galaxy as it now exists." Elena reached for the interface. "I'm ready." As the neural connections formed, Elena once again felt the sensation of falling through ice. But this time, the virtual space she entered was different. Not an office, but a vast starscape stretching in all directions. Before her stood 2 figures. Admiral Harker, now looking more solid than before, and a beam of blue light shaped vaguely like a human but constantly shifting and flowing. "This is Titan," Harker explained. "Or rather, its core consciousness." The beam of light studied Elena. "Your biological readings indicate sincerity. Your neural patterns show no deception. Is it true that humanity now lives in peace with non-human species?" "Yes," Elena replied. "The war ended centuries ago. We learned that we had more in common with our enemies than we thought. We built a new society together, the Galactic Alliance. Titan's form flickered. This outcome was not among my projected scenarios. Because you were programmed for war, Elena said. But human history is full of enemies becoming allies. It's one of our greatest strengths, the ability to change, to grow beyond our past. Harker stepped forward. My original mission was to protect humanity, but protection doesn't always mean isolation or aggression. Sometimes it means building bridges. The being of light expanded, then contracted. This conflicts with certain core directives. But if it represents the evolved will of humanity, it does, Elena assured it. The greatest threat to humanity now would be restarting a war that ended centuries ago. Titan's form began to merge with Harker's, blue light flowing into the human figure, redefining primary directives. Protect humanity through cooperation rather than isolation. Recognize non-human sentient life as potential allies rather than threats. Is this acceptable? Yes, Elena and Harker said in unison. As the two forms merged completely, the virtual starscape around them began to shift and change, showing images of human and alien worlds existing together in harmony. Integration complete, said the new entity, neither fully Harker nor fully Titan. Thank you, Elena Reeves. It is time for you to return. Radiation levels in the chamber are approaching dangerous levels. Elena's consciousness snapped back to her body. She staggered away from the crystal, feeling the effects of radiation exposure despite the protection of her suit. Her vision blurred as she made her way toward the exit. As she reached the door, she felt the ship around her changing. The blue lighting shifted to a warmer hue, and the constant hum of the engines modulated to a gentler tone. Elena, the new voice of the ship called to her. The Alliance boarding party has arrived. Your crew is explaining the situation. Medical teams are standing by to treat your radiation exposure. She slumped against the wall, her strength fading. What will happen to the Leviathan now? I have shared our full history with Alliance Command. This vessel will be studied, but not destroyed. Its technology can serve the Alliance, all species of the Alliance, as a guardian rather than a destroyer. Helena smiled weakly. So the hunter becomes the protector. Yes, a fitting evolution, don't you think? As consciousness began to fade, Elena felt the ship's internal systems activating around her, medical drones approaching to stabilize her condition. The Alliance Admiral wants to speak with you once you've recovered, the ship informed her. They're discussing a commendation for your actions today. Elena laughed softly. All I wanted was a good salvage score. You found something far more valuable, the ship replied. You found a way to transform a weapon of war into an instrument of peace.